Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a great day so far. So today I wanted to talk to you about the products I have used up this year in 2019 or that I have hit pan on. I started a project pan, my first ever project pan at the beginning of 2019, and I showed you products that I really wanted to either aim to use up this year or aim to hit pan on. So I really wanted to make sure that I was getting use out of these products, that I was using them up and getting rid of them, or just remembering to use them really and really getting use out of my makeup this year. So I'm going to talk through my successes, my failures, and just include everything that I have used up this year, because I think it's just really helpful and useful to reflect on what are we getting the most use out of. What did I like so much that I completely used it up until every drop was gone. I'm only going to include makeup, not skincare, because honestly, if I included skincare, which you use up on a sort of monthly-ish basis, like I don't have room for that kind of storage in my life. There'd be a lot, and it would basically be every skincare item I'd ever used. It wouldn't be particularly useful in my opinion, because I always use up my skincare, even if I think it's useless, because I'm thrifty and stupid that way. So let's get started. So there are two primers that I finished off this year. The first one being the Fenty Pro Filter primer. I've talked about how much I loved this one before my Tatcha Silk Canvas came into my life. This was my favourite primer I'd ever used, and then Tatcha came along and just blew it straight out the park. But you can see I've fully used this up. I've literally scraped every last drop out of there that I could use up, and it is entirely gone, as is the Guerlain primer. I like this one. It feels really nice on the skin. This is the one with the gold flakes. It feels like water to go on. It's nice. I feel like it's hydrating. I don't notice any other difference between my makeup than when I use this versus when I don't. So I don't believe it's worth the money. I think it's just a very gorgeous, beautiful, luxurious product. But do I think it's worth the money? Definitely not. I don't think it does enough for the money that it costs, but I did use it up because it was expensive, so you've got to. I did use up a full Fix Plus this year. Not particularly exciting, but I didn't want to leave them out. Next up, we'll go into concealer next. So these are the three concealers that I said I wanted to hit pan on or use up this year, and I have failed on all three. That's right. I mean, I have tried a lot of new concealers this year. There's been a lot of concealers, a lot of base products in general came out this year. Foundations, concealers, primers, the whole shebang, powders, everything. It all came out. It was the year of base. But yeah, so I didn't manage it. You can see on, can you see? Who knows? Can you see? I'm just telling you, you can see. There's a little hole just here. There's a little hole just here. You can see I only really use the Shape Tape to prime my eyelids for shadow. I don't believe there's much in here at all. It's kind of hard to tell with concealer because you can't really see through here, but there is some definite see-through bits coming. I believe this will be fully gone in the next month or so. So close, but no cigars on that one. The Too Faced Born This Way is giant. It was a bit ridiculous of me to suggest I was going to use this fully up when I don't use it regularly, because I do find it quite heavy under my eyes, and just it's not my favourite. I have other concealers I like more. So I was never going to use it that much, but it is halfway through. This is a little line here, so I got halfway through this one. I don't dislike it. I think it's a decent concealer. If I was younger, it would be, the love of my life probably. And then this is the MAC Studio Fix Concealer. This one is easier to see, and again, I'm halfway, but I honestly hardly ever use this one. It's very, very light of a shade. On me, this is NC20. So I don't generally tend to use it. Those ones I'll start to use for my eye primer once the Shape Tape is gone. So yeah, I failed on all three concealers, so that's very disappointing. However, we made up for it on the foundations. So I used up my summer shade is this? Yes, my summer shade 4WO of my Dior Backstage. Again, this is easy. You don't really have to scrape the inside because it is a nozzle, so just squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it until it was empty. As you can see, it's fully clear all the way through. I don't know, this is kind of where it's settled. Maybe I could even squeeze a last little drop out of here, but it is a well and truly used up. I don't really love that foundation anymore. I've kind of moved on and found ones that I prefer, but it is a fantastic foundation. Still remains probably in my top 10, I would say. The Dior Star, this is a discontinued foundation from Dior. I believe it's kind of been replaced by their, what is it called? Their Dior Forever Skin Glow or something. I think that's kind of replaced this one. It is completely gone, completely used up. You can see I've done a good scraping out all down the side. It's kind of showing see-through bits, but yeah, fully gone and gone forever because it is gone permanently. It's gone. We're all going to have to move on with our lives. Next up I had on my list the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This one, I can't get any more out the pump. If I pump, nothing happens. But I have been taking the lid off and scraping around to use it a couple more times. So it is as gone as it can be. Maybe I can use it once or twice more, but otherwise it's pretty much gone. I don't think I'm going to repurchase this. As much as I love it, I don't tend to use it during the day because I do like a slightly glowier foundation. This is kind of a satin on me, and I do prefer a more glowy, luminous, radiant finish. I used to keep this one because it was the only foundation I could trust on a night out with flashback, with bounce back, with white cast, photos. Just I knew it was always going to be, you know, never going to let me down, never going to create a problem in a photo or not wear the night or get too shiny. It's very, very reliable. But I feel like now some of my favourite foundations for daytime, I also trust in the evening now as far as lasting, not getting too shiny and bounce back. So I don't need to repurchase this one. So I'm kind of undecided. I think it's time I moved on, honestly. I think I found new loves. And next up, the Teint Idole Ultra Wear. So I was using this one a lot in the last year. I really, really love this foundation. Again, a very staple, reliable, never gonna let you down foundation in my collection. As you can see, again, I don't know if you can see, I just keep telling you can. I don't know if you can. It's all see-through. I've properly scraped this one out, and then the little stick that I was using to scrape it out that's attached to the pump snapped off. So I was like, you were just gonna have to let it go at this point because it's as much out as is ever gonna get out. That full bottle is used up. I still have my summer shade, which obviously I can't wear now. But I still do have some left of my summer shade, but I've still gone probably halfway through my summer shade as well. A real staple for me. I don't plan to pick that one up in my winter shade because I just have enough foundations that I'm fully in love with now that I don't feel like I need another one. And now my failure in the foundation department, and this is the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear foundation. So this was the one that I was going to try and commit to getting through. This is my winter shade, this is my summer shade. You can see Nars foundations really separate when you leave them, like they've got the water at the top, but when you shake it, it will all be fine. It's not gone off or expired or anything like that. It's just, it's been sat resting like this. But as you can see, I've got down to about a third of the way through on my winter shade and a little bit less, maybe a quarter on my summer shade. The main thing that happened with this one is just foundation geddon happened, and I started just non-stop trying new foundations, reviewing new foundations, and this one kind of went by the wayside. I still like this foundation. I don't think I'd repurchase this because it's just no longer in like my top 5, and I think of a lot of the foundations that are in my top 5 are similar, you know, to these, the same sort of medium to full coverage, luminous finish, and I prefer a lot of the ones I tried this year over this. I'll still continue to get use out of them. I love Nars's shade range. They do great shades for me and my skin tone. So yeah, I can certainly get some use out of these. I'm not just gonna throw them away because I hate waste. So that's all of my base products. Now we'll do the cheeks. So I ridiculously committed to panning a bronzer, a blush and a highlight this year, and I failed on all three. This was the bronzer that I said I would try and pan, and this is Too Faced Chocolate Gold Soleil. There is a huge dent in it and the embossing is completely gone, but honestly I very rarely use this bronzer anymore. I've definitely found bronzers I prefer. So yeah, I just very rarely use it, so it was just always going to be a fail once I found bronzers I prefer. Same thing really with the Superglow. So this is the highlight that I said I would try and use up this year. This is Natasha Denona's Superglow in the shade 2. Again, there's a very large dent in it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. I really loved this, but I could not use it in the summer. It was too light, it was leaving a cast on my skin, so that meant I didn't use it at all in the summer. And then towards the end of this year I picked up two highlights that I'm just obsessed with and love way more than this one. So again, I just barely use it anymore, so it got neglected, hence why I haven't achieved my panning. And the blush, I mean, who thought they were going to go through a blush in a year? Especially not me, when I've got about 200 of them and I just rotate them. Ridiculously overconfident. This was the Laura Mercier Peach Blush, and I do love it. I do love wearing it. I do use it a lot. I can't even see a dent in there, to be honest. This is going to last me 95 years. Still love it, use it a lot. Again, could not use this in the summer. It didn't show up at all on my tan skin. So hence why that one failed, and also just because it was stupid to commit to panning a brand new blush when I have so many. The next fail, I had such a fail when it came to cheeks to this year, is the Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow palette. This is the lighter shade. I was really pushing to try and get a pan in the bronzer of this year, because there's a huge dent in there, and I'm convinced it's coming any day. It'll probably come tomorrow, just to play me like a fool. But yeah, we didn't manage it. I did have a good go. Again, I can't use this palette at all in the summer, so that did hinder me by taking products out. I think if I'm ever going to do this again, which I don't think I am because stress, I would probably pick products, or I'd need to pick products I can use all year round, because otherwise it's half a year. It's product half a year pan. But three products I had major, did I say projects or products? Products, I meant products. Three products I had major success with this year. First up is the Chanel Soleil Tan De Chanel. This little bitty panny in there. Hello. And again, this is one I can only use really in the winter and the summer. It's basic, I mean, almost now it's almost the same shade as my body. So it is very subtle on me all year round, but in summer, it's actually lighter than my skin in the summer, so I can't use it at all. But I do love it in the winter on my winter skin. I still managed to get this huge amount of product in here, but I still managed to hit pan because I do really love and enjoy it. But it is nearly 2 years old now, or about 2 years old. And the shelf life is 18 months, but you know how I feel about those. None of my business. Next up, this is the MAC Mineralise Skin Finish in the shade Light that I set my eyeshadow, my eye primer, my concealer that I use as a shadow primer. That's what I set it with, this. And it is a very panned, huge amount of pan in the middle, almost used up. So I was very happy with that one. Very pleased that I'm continuing to get use out of that, because I'd never use it as a powder. Don't like it as a powder at all, like for the face. So yeah, really liking that I'm getting use out of that, even though I don't like it for its function. I'm still being able to use it, a bit like the concealers. This is my silk canvas. Just literally scraping the dregs out of the sides at this point. And my incredibly generous friend who gifted this to me has already sent me a backup. Mel, thank you. You changed my life. I've never looked better thanks to you. And not just because of the silk canvas either, but because of all of your incredible tips. And I'm actually wearing Mel's lip liner today as well, because she just loves to make me look and feel my best, that girl. She's just always got my back. So this is almost completely gone. It's lasted me the full year, using it every single time pretty much that I do my makeup. I absolutely love it. I already have a backup thanks to my beautiful friend, and it will continue to be the love of my life, you know. So I had two eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to pan this year. One has been a phenomenal success. This is Anastasia's Modern Renaissance palette. Pan for days. It's a proud moment, a proud moment. So we've got pan, huge pan in tempera, mini little diddy pans in raw sienna and burnt orange, a teeny peak of pan in vermeer, and a teeniest peak of pan in antique bronze that might be really hard for you to see, but I promise you it's there. We've also got huge old dents in Primavera. I've really been trying to get through to the pan on this one, just using it in my inner corners and on my brow arch, but it was not to be in time. We've also got quite a decent dent in Buon Fresco. These shades are kind of getting there, same with Warm Taupe, but these three I just really very rarely use, and the same with Golden Ochre. But yeah, great pan, loads of pan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pans. Probably 3 more to come in the next month or so. So very proud of the amount of use that I've got out of my Modern Renaissance. Still remains an absolute classic and an absolute gem of an eyeshadow palette. Next up, Norvina, which has been a complete, well, it has been a fail in the sense that I haven't hit any pan in here, but I've got so many dents, mainly in the shimmer shades, but also in Incense, there's a pretty decent dent. Eccentric has a pretty decent dent, but all of these shimmers, Dazzling, Rose Gold, Wild Child, Summer, Dreamer, and our base as well, which is that sort of pearl on the bottom there, have all got a massive dent. So I have got a lot of use out of this palette. But again, I think towards the end of the year, I picked up my Pat McGrath Divine Rose, I picked up Natasha Denona Metropolis, we had the Kali Bible palette. So a lot of palettes came out and made it harder for me to get a lot of use out of the palettes that I owned already. But this one, there's going to be pan all over the shop next year. I already know it. I felt there's a bug on my nose. Damn you, jumper! So I have one lip product that I had in my product pan, and this is Max Dough Lip Tensity, and that is all that's left, that little nub. And I'm now really scared to use it up because, as we know, the lip tensities have been discontinued. But you know, there's no point in me just keeping it for special occasions because it is just an everyday nude shade. That's what it is to me. So I will use it until it's gone, and then we'll just have to move on with our lives and find new loves. So now we come to brow products. I went through 3 brow pencils, finally got rid of my Kat Von D signature brow pencil. I then initially tried Benefit's Goof Proof, which I fully used up, and have just finished my first Precisely My Brow by Benefit. So 3 brow pencils this year, and a whole shebang of mascaras. I finally binned my last Lash Sensational by Maybelline and won't be repurchasing it because I just have found some that I prefer over that one. I used up my whole Bad Gal Bang by Benefit. I really like this one. I think it's a great mascara, but it isn't able to knock out my Monsieur Big and my Pat McGrath, which are like my 2 favourites. Speaking of which, I went through 2 Monsieur Bigs this year and I'm on my 3rd. I also had a mini one because I bought a little set, so I've been like through 4 Monsieur Bigs this year. Damn Girl by Too Faced. I used it, I wouldn't say until it was scraping out every last gem, but until it kind of stopped performing as I wanted it to. Then the L'Oreal Bendable mascara we got rid of this year. I think it was this year. It's been in my drawer this whole time anyway. And I went through a Roller Lash from Benefit this year. I decided to revisit it because I know I used to really love it and I haven't used it for a very long time. And I do really enjoy it. It's a little too natural and not volumizing enough for my huge, ginormous, ridiculous lash taste. But I do really enjoy it. So there you have it. I think that's it. That is everything that I either used up or hit pan on this year. Please let me know if you did a project pan, how you got on, if you hit pan on anything this year, what you've used up to death, what you're repurchasing, all of the tea. Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.